Okay. Okay, fantastic. All right, we're back. And how are my levels? I am way up there. Okay. Now can anyone hear me? Anyway, so what I've got, if I'm playing around with this correctly. So anyway, welcome to Monday, and we've got a lot of stuff going on in the world of mutants. No, I just want to talk about one thing, and that is the new Mutants coming out in couple of weeks. And the annoying thing about that is let me pull up the article here, and then you guys can get a sense of what I'm seeing. So apparently the theaters, there's some theater chains that are going to be having their theaters reopen, and they're going to do it at 50 cents. What the hell? Theaters open at 50 cents. And I cannot type for the life of me. Oh, sorry. AMC will offer 15-cent tickets when it reopens on August 20th, which means I don't know. What are they going to do for 15 cents? But yeah, they've been closed for how many months? And they're going to reopen at 15 cents a pop. I'm playing with my light here. You guys get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to read the article here because I'm having trouble bringing it up into OBS, which is what I wanted to do so you guys could see it as well. But I am having OBS problems. So, like so many industries in the last 5 months, it's been absolutely devastating for movie theaters as far as sheer volumes go. No one has been harder hit than the world's largest theater chain. AMC has had plans to reopen theaters for some time, but things change, particularly when you're dealing with something as uncertain and always evolving as a global pandemic. This week, the theater juggernaut announced plans to reopen more than 100 theaters in the U.S. on August 20th, constituting a first wave of reopenings. In an attempt to entice understandably cautious customers to return, it will be offering all tickets for 15 cents for one day. With a limited quantity as it enforces social distancing measures. The number is a momentary return to 1920 ticket prices as an homage to the chain's founding. I guess everything was cheaper back then. Okay, things are still tricky, of course. Among the bigger issues here, the current lack of new releases to choose from. It's one of those chicken and egg deals. Movie studios have to be equally eager to release films, but haven't had much luck as local regulations have kept theaters closed. After numerous delays, Warner Brothers announced it will be taking the unusual measures of premiering Christopher Nolan's Tenet outside the U.S. before it comes to the States. More than anything, it's a clear indication of the country's handling of the beer bug. And I am buffering, aren't I? let's go back to this for a second. Well, I figured out my video situation here. Da, 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 da. Okay, let's see how that does. Hopefully that does better. Anyway, we're just going to keep going with this. They're going to... they released a statement about their safety measures that they're going to implement in the theaters. AMC Safe and Clean components include significant reductions in the maximum tickets available for each showtime and seat blocking in reserved seating. I only see the logo. Okay, well. So it's probably just on my end. Whatever. We're just gonna keep pressing on here. Yeah, so they're going to use HEPA vacuums, upgraded air filtration efforts, and the use of MERV 13 filters whenever possible. New guests and associates will have safety protocols that include mandatory mask wearing by all guests and associates, hand sanitizing stations throughout the theater, and availability of the guests to use disinfectant wipes. Okay, great. And then that's that one. You know what? Let's do something interesting. So we're going to switch to this. Okay. Okay. So how's that for a thing? Alright guys, so I switched it up. We're gonna be doing it like this. I'm just gonna keep the logo up here and then I'll do the microphone. Oh, stop being a poor. Stop being a poor stream status. Oh gosh. All right, so Bullocks, we'll just go for it. Some kind of boom, huh? All right, how's that? Hopefully this will work now. Yeah, I'm playing around with the OBS. It's been a little bit, and trying to play with the settings while you're doing the stream is a it's a learning process. But okay, let's bring it up. Let's bring up this thing here. Okay, I'm just gonna take that, and I'm going to put in this little thing here. I wish I could. All right, so we'll just have to read it from the site. This is coming in from Variety. I'm going to break OBS. So, New Mutants is apparently still being released in theaters in 2 weeks. Against all odds, the New Mutants Disney and Fox beleaguered superhero thriller. It's been delayed numerous times in the past 2 years. 2 years? Feels like this thing should have been coming out in 2017. It's probably 3 years. Anyway, it might end up being the film that revives moviegoing. Yeah, right. My ass. I don't think so. But that's my opinion. Fantastic. Thanks, Parrothead. And thanks, Steven, for. Okay, so against all odds, Disney's, Fox's wonderful theatrical plans for every movie slated in the 2020 release date and beyond. New Mutants is being staying put for the weekend of August 28. Many are expecting that Disney would continue to postpone it, while others speculate the film might be exported to Disney Plus or Hulu, but Disney sent exhibitors a lengthy email on Monday outlining theatrical plans, including news that ticket sales can start on the morning of August 18th. It's for sure opening on August 28th, one exhibitor wrote to Variety excitedly. Theoretically, given the fast changing nature of the pandemic, it's still possible that Disney could amend those plans, but for now, the major studio releasing New Mutants as the first new theatrical release since the wonderful pandemic closed cinemas is really going to be a thing. The news is especially surprising, and not just because Disney has done minimal promotion for the New Mutants over the past few months. Christopher Nolan's epic Tenet and Disney's Mulan have received the lion's share of attention, with exhibitors and studios alike hoping that those two titles could help reignite cinemas after prolonged shutdowns. Now, Mulan is skipping the U.S. theaters completely, premiering on Disney Plus, while Tenet is staggering its rollout, starting internationally. So anybody outside the U.S., you'll all get it before we do. Thank you very much. On August 26th, before making its way to select U.S. cities on September 3rd. Russell Crowe's thriller Unhinged from newcomer Solstice Studios. It's going to debut on August 21st, the week before the New Mutants. Okay, that's great. Wait a minute, so doesn't that mean that's coming out before New Mutants? Anyway, even before coronavirus caused cinemas to shutter and required studios to postpone major movies, the New Mutants endured an especially arduous journey to the big screen. And we all know the history. We know it was supposed to happen since 2018. So here's the thing. Variety broke down the numbers. So currently, 1,309 of the 6,021 venues in the country have reopened. According to ComScore, the movie theaters in New York City and Los Angeles, the two biggest movie-going markets in the States, are still closed without a set date to reopen. There's been speculation that Disney was contractually obligated to release New Mutants in theaters after inheriting the movie as part of its $71.3 billion merger with Fox. Was it a merger or was it an acquisition? Anyway, which might explain why the studio opted to forge ahead with the release date while deferring titles including the family adventure Jungle Cruise and Marvel's Black Widow and Mulan. In any case, the release of the New Mutants comes at a dire time for movie theater owners. Exhibitors have started to resume businesses, and they're finding that ticket sales aren't flowing as freely as they were before the pandemic. There's partially because there hasn't been a new movie in theaters in months. People don't want to see Harry Potter or Star Wars for the umpteenth time. Okay, that's great. And then they go over the history of every movie that's been scrapping theatrical plans. Trolls World Tour, SpongeBob, Sponge on the Run, Scoob, freaking Mulan, and then they talk about Dark Phoenix bombing and losing the studio over $100 million. Oh, great. So, and then they go over some of the release dates for upcoming movies. So, 20th Century Fox, or whatever it is now, 20th Century, New Mutants is going to come out on the 28th of August. Tenet by Warner Brothers will come out September 3rd. STX will have Greenland come out on September 25th. Never heard of it. Candyman by Universal will come out on October 16th. Sony's Connected will come out on the 23rd of October. Fatale by Lionsgate will come out on the 30th of October. Black Widow, supposed to come out on November 6th. Paramount's coming out with Clifford the Big Red Dog on November 13th. And No Time to Die will release on the 20th. That's weird. This is a weird schedule. For one, yeah, DeviantPort. When I was a kid, we had movies months after you. Before the pandemic, we had 2 days before you. Now we'll have movies like 2 weeks before you. Times changed. Freaking. Well, you guys did better with your freaking. When the beer bug went over there, you guys did better. We're kind of blowing our load here. Like the place that I'm working at right now, just last week someone contracted the beer bug. And so now everybody's got to wipe everything down. I'm paranoid walking into the place. Any slight like cough or scratchiness of the throat, I start to freak out and I think maybe I've got it. I start sweating. But, 116 degree temperature, of course you're going to start sweating. But yeah, I do not know what to think about this recent news of New Mutants coming out. I don't know what they're planning. See, here's the thing about what they got from the Disney deal. If everybody was watching the Comic-Con at Home panel for the New Mutants, we saw the first minute and 15 seconds of the movie. The movie looked great. Action, thrill, kind of had that really scary, intense vibe to it. I mean, I didn't like the acting from the father of whatever her name was. I didn't like his acting, but she was selling it for me. The action that was going on, it was believable. It didn't seem like it was a lot of, CGI going on. It seemed like a lot of practical effects, fire, wind effects, a lot of shaking going on. But here's the thing. I liked the film for that first minute and 15 seconds that they showed. They're going to have that film as the opener since a pandemic. A lot of people are going to be hesitant to go back to the theaters to see this thing because, and that translates to ticket sales. You want to have a return on an investment. You invested on a property and properties, and you're going to release this thing. It's supposed to be making some uber bucks, and I fear, and this is just me, I want this thing to make money, serious money, and that way the studio knows, okay, there's still a hunger, a desire, people still want this movie. People still want mutants on the screen, and they want it well done. They want filmography that's on point. They want writing that's top notch. They want those things. When these ticket sales come back, I don't know how much of that will factor into the decision they make to go forward with these kinds of movies. Logan, great film. Had the vibes of a very violent and dystopic kind of, wolf and cub kind of thing going on. The fact that they did that movie means audiences were looking for something different. And they got it. And, I think Patrick Stewart got Best Supporting Actor in that film for his portrayal of a debilitated, more than usual Professor Xavier. And geez, so there is a hunger for good writing. There is a hunger for good filming. And I think New Mutants is one of those examples. I a lot of the current media that we're seeing nowadays seems to indicate that that might not be the case, but I have my hopes that New Mutants is going to be the one that kicks against the grain. We're not going to see a repeat of Dark Phoenix in the theaters, but the way it's looking, freaking New Mutants could do worse than Dark Phoenix in terms of getting money back for the studio. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. I wish times were better, so when this movie releases, we could have a proper audience for it. But it looks like if they're pushing ahead for it, we're not going to see the full potential of what this movie could have done. It's kind of sad. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. The New Mutants, getting their release date. It's still better for Disney to take that theater opening risk on a movie they didn't pay for. Yeah, that's true. And it could give them a little bit of a feel for where people are. Like, who's willing to risk it? Who's willing to go out and see a movie versus what kind of environment are we living in right now? In terms of where everybody is with this pandemic thing. Are people sick of it? Or are people still scared? And then they'll be able to gauge what kind of, the social impact as well as the health concerns. And I think that's an important step that they need to make in opening something like this. However, it kind of sucks because you don't see what the true potential of that movie could have been in the best of times. You can name, they might be able to use that as an excuse as to why it didn't perform as well. Oh, you know what? It was, kind of sucked right now because of the thing, and if the thing wasn't happening, I think the movie could have done better. And that could be an excuse to give to investors so that when they talk about mutants again, they'll be more willing to accept any kind of offer for a mutants movie. God damn, that movie looked great for the first minute and 15 seconds. But I doubt that's going to spur people to risk their health to go see it. People don't want... I got an email saying, hey, if you are feeling sick, you don't have to go into work. Just call and we'll make sure that, that's the kind of world we live in. Anyway, well, thanks for joining me. Parrothead, Deviant Porg, Lopter, Demon King of Inferno, Jasmine. Thanks for joining me this morning. We will do this again. I am going to get back on schedule with all my live streams, and I am probably going to switch to StreamYard for all of these because the Starbucks Wi-Fi is failing me horribly. I'll have to fix it.